Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. This video is going to be about uh, forgiving student loan debt, which is suddenly coming to the fore, even in corporate media, since Joe Biden was elected. Now, there are things to, yeah, I'm freewheeling this one, but there are a lot of things to take into account with this. Before I start, I've got to give some credit. Uh, some of this I was inspired by thoughts that were offered on the Hill with Crystal and Sagar, and I really advise watching that show. If you don't watch it on YouTube, then you should. Um, I get a lot of inspiration, and my thoughts on things do evolve. My thoughts are always evolving. Um, you know, even from discussions with people that whether I agree or disagree with them, I can learn, from people I disagree with. I do not stay stuck in one mode or mentally silence, censor, you know, cancel certain voices just because I don't agree. Um, if they have something valid to offer, then they have something valid to offer. Yeah, but some of my biggest inspirations in the media are Caitlin Johnstone, Jimmy Dore, Glenn Greenwald. Um, you know, I'm always sharing information, different articles or quotes from different sources like this. Uh, but I also gain a lot of inspiration from social media contacts. Kendra Lausman, uh, you know, Zelda Roberts, Mary Jones Giampalo, Wendy Chavez. Um, you know, whether I agree or disagree, I listen, I pay attention, and I think about things. All right, and that's what we all should do. And so let's go into this about the student loans. Something that, first of all, what the Hill brought up was the fact that 60% of Americans do not have a college degree. Now, I'm well aware that not having a degree doesn't mean you don't have student loan debt. You can have student loan debt, like myself, from a vocational program. I carried student loan debt for way too many years. And there were, but, I have other college credits from University of Maryland, City College of Chicago, San Antonio uh, College, and more. I've done a lot of studying. They just didn't. It just didn't all go toward a degree. I also have a certificate in hotel management. Yeah, but anyway, so I carried a lot of student loan debt for many years, and which did not go toward a degree. But the point of that they were bringing up is that forgiving student loan debt is most likely. You'll notice Biden is suddenly for this when he's never been for it before. Why now? Um, you know, the people that will benefit the most from this are people that are already at the higher middle class income level. those are the most likely to benefit from the forgiveness of student loan debt. So many actually need this. But I supported the forgiveness of student loans in 2016 when I voted for Jill Stein. But first of all, the proposals are quite different. Okay. Jill Stein was talking about completely wiping out student loan debt and, universal adult education all in one shot. That's not what Biden is proposing by any means. So, who would really benefit from forgiving student loan debt at this point in time? It would not be so much society, but the banks. Because he's not talking about, just forgiving it, wiping it out, but actually paying the banks. But he's also not talking about doing it all at once. Go back over his proposal. And his proposal includes things like you having to pay on that student loan and having a good payment history for 10 to 20 years. So this is not going to have an immediate impact to help anyone except the banks. Okay, if you really want to help people with this, pretty simple. Allow people that declare bankruptcy to discharge their federally backed student loans if they declare bankruptcy. Allow that to be discharged. Okay? The people that are in the worst distress benefit from this. All right? That way, you and I are not paying off the banks for this. Well, actually, we would, but not in a massive turnover. Now, what would help a lot more, even getting a college education right now, there's no guarantee you're going to get a job related to your degree program, no matter how practical your degree program is. Because our entire economy is collapsing. Look how many people with degrees right now have been laid off. Look how many people with degrees have never been able to get a job in their degree program. Look how many people with business degrees are, shift supervisors at a fast food joint. So, even the universal education right now is not as much of a benefit as it would have been 4 years ago, 10 years ago, or maybe 4 years in the future, 10 years in the future. And if you've got to make 10 to 20 years of payments, it's not going to help you when you're in distress right this minute. And what about the people that don't have student loan debt and yet they're in financial distress? How does this help them? It doesn't at all. No, what Biden is proposing is another corporate bank welfare program. That's what he's talking about. It's, it's the bailing out of the banks all over again. It's just another, Obamacare. but for the student loan industry. That's what he's talking about. Just like Obamacare, the ACA was a welfare program for the health insurance industry. Well, this is what he's proposing now for the student loan industry. No, I'm absolutely for forgiving student loans. You know, I no longer would benefit directly from it. I don't hold any animosity if somebody else does benefit from it. Okay? That's not what I'm talking about. But this needs to be a much lower priority than keeping people in their homes when they're about to be evicted, feeding people that are sitting in line or standing in line for food banks for 12 hours to get $30 or $40 worth of food. These are the people that need help. The people that are getting their utilities shut off in the wintertime. These are the people that need help. It doesn't matter whether they've got student loans or not. This is a distraction. It is a diversion. It is a useless gesture that has no substance at all. What substance it does have is not meant to benefit you. It is meant to bail out banks. Again. And I'll keep saying that. He is bailing out the banks. You know, and there is absolutely still a racist component to this, because most of the people that are going to benefit from this, from his proposal, are white upper class or upper middle class. That is his base. The white upper middle class too rich is Biden's base. If you're making minimum wage, if you've been laid off, you are not Biden's base. Okay? If you're working 3 or 4 jobs to make a living, you are not Biden's base. He is not going to help you. He is the one that years ago signed the bankruptcy bill, which made it more difficult for poor people to declare bankruptcy. He has absolutely been in favor throughout his career of students not being able to discharge student loan debt through bankruptcy. Okay? You want to help people? Okay. Even without that. Even without changing all of that. Well, give an executive order that, nobody can be declared in default during the entire length of this pandemic or until the economy recovers to a measurable standard so that they can't be sued for student loan debt. They cannot have their wages attached by the federal government for student loan debt. That he could do by executive order. As far as the discharging of student loan debt, he cannot do that by executive order. This is something that is, even if it benefits the banks and what have you, it cannot be done without Congress passing it. A mostly Republican Senate would have to say yes. as far as putting a halt to attachments of wages and so forth, that could be done by executive order. So think about these things. Talk about these things. Share this video. If you disagree, then voice it. All right? If you can, please donate $1 a month to help expand the channel. Don't go for the big, bright, shiny that's shoved in front of your face. You know, look at what is beyond that. Look further. When they talk about some proposal, look at the details. I know it's difficult. You get hit with information overload. But these are the things that I spend so many hours a week doing, is looking into these details. I don't just look at the headline and think, this is great. No, you got to go further. And this is what I try to do, to condense all of this into, a digestible format. All right? So, please share this video, talk about these subjects, and I will see you in the next one.